Happy March! It's here. It's showing up. This is the last month of the first quarter of 2021 already. In a sunny spot today, and so it looks a little not quite so sharp on the picture, but it's sunny. So I'm enjoying that, and as you can see behind me, it might be sunny, but it's a little frosty out there still. We have had some cold weather. Okay, so yeah, that can make you vulnerable, and that's what this quick video is about. It keeps coming up, vulnerability. I taught a class last week actually for one of my corporate clients on the subject, and I wanted to share a few of the points that really stood out to me. And since I started getting ready for this talk and doing my regular reading of a whole bunch of different things and just things that happen to cross your eyeballs, it's just interesting that certain things keep coming up. So vulnerability takes courage. Courage keeps coming up. So I'm just going to share this with you. So the definition, or one of the definitions of vulnerability, is the quality or state of being exposed to the possibility. So just the mere thought of the possibility of being attacked, harmed, and it could be physically or emotionally. And I added to this being misunderstood or rejected, shamed or humiliated. Just the possibility of any of those things happening, it puts us in a vulnerable state. So it takes courage, as I said, to be vulnerable. And I think that's the first part. Like, it just takes courage to venture into this, because there are two other words, willingness and trust in yourself. That's more than one word, but you got to have trust, willingness, and courage, and they're all important. But I think in order to be willing, you got to have courage. Like, you just somehow have to find that within. And do it afraid, that phrase comes up for me a lot around vulnerability. Like, sometimes we just don't know for sure what the outcome is going to be. And that's one of the things that we see. So Tony Fairkey, I think is how you say his name, he quoted this about vulnerability. Vulnerability is not winning or losing. It's having the courage to show up and be seen when we have no control over the outcome. Also, something that is a big myth around being vulnerable, which in real terms could just mean telling your truth, sharing something that's hard, speaking authentically, risking not being understood, right? Risking being lashed out at, all of these things that we can think that being vulnerable puts you at a place of weakness. And it actually is a measure of courage. It's really one of the greatest measures of courage. So if you start to think about that, courage is strength. Courage is invincible. So if vulnerability comes from this place of courage to share, not knowing what the outcome is going to be, it's definitely not a weakness, right? So I'm not going to give you all the answers today. I just hope to kind of whet your appetite around this. Maybe you want to learn more, but you could also start to think, where am I on a scale from 1 to 10 in this vulnerability thing? And start from there. And I think one of the best ways to build this is to take on little challenges to build your courage first, just so that you have a solid feeling within yourself about yourself, that you trust yourself, that you know you're capable, you know you're resilient, you know you're going to bounce back, even if the outcome turns out to be one you don't appreciate that much. After a while, when you start taking these little courageous steps, taking on even a little challenge, trying something you haven't done before, even if it's a food, whatever it is, just starting to show yourself that you're okay, even when you venture out of your normal things, that you will start to just trust yourself at a higher level, which allows the willingness to come, and the courage just keeps building, and it leads to a happier life because you're not holding back. You're able to be your true self. And so this is just a mere sliver about vulnerability today, but when you're talking about expansion, which is what this week's blog post is about, it really fits in. So expansion comes from the ability to be vulnerable as well. And if anything has been taught to us over the last year is that we're all vulnerable. Like if you think that you haven't been doing anything to be vulnerable over the past year, then think again, because we all have been vulnerable and we've been in uncertainty. We have all had to adopt and adapt to new situations, and we still don't know what's going on most of the time. And so just kind of give yourself credit for that. And now maybe start to do some of these things on purpose to build your courage, to allow more willingness, not be stubborn, not be set, but be open. And it's just a really cool way to start to live. But be nice and gentle and easy on yourself because it's a big deal. Soon, right? I'm going to say this soon. I'm going to be out there in the gazebo. It's calling to me. It's lonely without me. I want to be out there. There's my summer office covered in snow and cold. But you know, it's coming. And so last word, stay present. Enjoy and embrace what is today, right in this moment, right this week, right with what's on with life. And, you know, I love looking out and seeing that. And I know like at some point, I'm going to be out there. I'm going to appreciate it so much because I can't be out there 24/7, 365. So it makes it even more special. So what can you appreciate about today? What are you up to with vulnerability? Maybe get up the courage to share something. Make sure you're safe, right? We want to be vulnerable in you know places where it's at least safe to do so. But just kind of start to look at this for yourself and see where you're at. And I'd love to hear from you. Any insights you have. I have 3 pages of notes on this, and there, you know, Brene Brown, I will mention. Brene, Brene Brown, Daring Greatly is one of her books. She's got several that are all about vulnerability, and I recommend all of them. All very insightful. So that would be a great place to start if you want more information. Okay, see you next week. Have a great week. Make the most of it. Have fun. Be a blessing. Learn a lot. Those are all the things I say to my son every time I talk to him. All right, so now I'm saying them to you too. Have a great week ahead. Bye.